And now we've got Nicholas Oliver, candidate for mayor of East Providence. Welcome aboard.
Josh, good to see you.
Is this your second time on?
This is my first time on
First
Go
time on
Local
Live.
Yeah.
Well, thank you very much.
Well, thank you.
Why are you running for mayor of East Providence?
Well, I see a city that's in turmoil. We have significant financial constraints. We have our infrastructure is failing, and we're seeing people losing their jobs. I've been an advocate, as you know, for over 20 years up at the State House, working on business issues and healthcare issues. And there was this outcry from leaders within my community, families, friends, business owners that have said, can you please take your talents and bring them back home?
East Providence is a really remarkable city. I don't want to say I grew up there because I grew up in Providence, but I had a ton of friends over there that I grew up with. Matty Lopes and a whole bunch of folks that, we've all known each other and played sports since 14, 15 years old. And it's literally an American melting pot.
It is.
It's got to be one of the most diverse but totally integrated communities. I think it's the most integrated community in Rhode Island. And what does that mean? Talk a little about it. It's a very working class, middle class town.
It is a very working class community. Even when I grew up there, it was very much a Portuguese population with some Cape Verdeans there. And then I would say over the past generation, it has really started to integrate into this multicultural community. And I believe that's in large part for people who immigrated here into Rhode Island and then decided that they wanted to have a larger home, go to a better school system, build a better life. They went over the bridge and moved across the river, and it has become this melting pot, as you described. It's great.
Did you go to East Providence High School?
I did. I am born and raised in East Providence.
Did you go when there were two different time periods? There was the morning period and the afternoon period?
So you aged me a little bit, but not that much. My parents went to school during double sessions when they graduated in '75. I graduated in '97.
Was it the largest high school in the state?
It was. I believe now the numbers, Coventry High School is the largest.
But it was huge. 3,000 kids?
It was, no, it was just under 2,000.
Oh, 2,000.
And that was back in the days where we had only 3 grades up there, 10 through 12.
Right.
Now there's a decline in the population as well as a decline in the student enrollment. And the high school now, for about the past 15 years, has been a 9 through 12 school.
If you get elected, what's your number one priority?
So when we let our kickoff for our campaign on Sunday, we announced our Fresh Start agenda. And it's focused on taking a look at our taxes and fees, taking a look at our infrastructure, and bringing back jobs into the community. You'll see on my website, and if I can plug it, oliverforep.com. Yep, oliverforep.com. You will see a just under 4-minute video that provides a little bit of information for those few remaining folks in the community that do not know who I am, but also shows what the problems that we have within the community and what I would like to do to change them. We have a lot of vacant commercial and industrial buildings, and particularly within our waterfront, but throughout the community we're seeing more businesses close. Many of them are small mom and pop businesses, and we need to bring back jobs back into our city, and we need to make it attractive for businesses to come in and stay and thrive. And you hear a lot of politicians talk about that, but the difference is that I have business experience. I lead one of the largest industries in the state, home health care, which is a $500 million industry that generates that revenue into the economy annually into the state. We have 8 out of the 47 companies that deliver home health care and hospice services in East Providence, so 8 out of the 47, so that's a sizable number. And those companies are doing their best to survive, but they can certainly do better, especially as baby boomers age. There's going to be more people that need services. But at the same time, we need to make sure that we have other industries and businesses that are thriving within our city in order to be able to have the revenue and the resources to deliver care. So that's helpful as far as home health is concerned.
You hit on a very important issue. We talk about it here all the time. Is really the untapped. You go to most cities in America, they have developed smartly every inch of their waterfront. And if you go up to Boston right now, there's a crane on every inch of the waterfront in Boston.
Yeah.
You go over to the Gatehouse restaurant, you look across at East Providence, and you marvel that there's nothing there.
Yeah, there's a lot of opportunity.
There is billions of dollars of opportunity for housing and small businesses and all sorts of things. What's it going to take to jumpstart that? I mean, it seems to be probably one of the nicest areas on the entire eastern seaboard that's not developed yet.
Right. You bring up a great point. And so there's a lot of undeveloped or undeveloped land, and there's a number of vacant industrial buildings that are along our waterfront. There's a couple of developments that have started, but they have been largely subsidized by tax breaks. That has been a real problem for us taxpayers, those that are paying property taxes into the city, because we've seen our taxes increase. We've seen our water and sewer fees significantly jump to subsidize this little development that's happening.
Yeah.
But the problem is that we have learned throughout the state is that these companies come in, they utilize the services of the city, utilize those tax incentives and breaks, and then when they expire, they look for the next best opportunity and they leave. So I'm concerned even about the development at Kettle Point now, given the multi-year tax breaks that the city council provided, because these folks may decide, well, we're going to leave and find a better deal if the city can't continue to give us the corporate welfare we want.
So let me ask you a question about the big P politics of East Providence.
Yeah.
Because I think East Providence is a remarkable community, but there seems to be two factions, and correct me if I'm wrong, if they've muted, but for the last 10 years it seems to be the Carullo Empire and the Paul Mora Empire have been fighting over dust bunnies for 10 years. And I mean, if there's a candy wrapper blowing down the street, those two groups will fight over it, either claiming that it's theirs or it's the other guy who caused the litter. What is the problem about sort of getting a bigger perspective about getting things done in East Providence? And am I wrong in that assessment?
I think that there are more players than just the two that you mentioned, and that they would probably argue over whether that wrapper was a Three Musketeers or a Twix bar. But yes, there are multiple factions, but all under the same umbrella of one particular political machine.
Yeah.
That is something that I am not a party to. Which was certainly something that we studied because it is an uphill battle.
Yeah.
That machine, if you will, has already anointed their specific candidate.
Who are they running?
So there's only one other declared candidate so far, and that's former state representative Bob DeSilva. Nice person, but wouldn't have the experience to be our city manager, and that certainly is something that is of concern for me.
Yeah.
You're playing with the politics of filling positions to be the sixth city councilor. We're not looking for that. 73% of the voters in the last election wanted to elect someone to be a full-time CEO of the city,
right,
and run that mayor's office in the best interest of all the taxpayers, not a particular political machine.
So these races, I don't care how efficient you are and how smart you are, you got to get your message. What's it going to cost to win this race?
Oh, that's a good question. We are...
Are you saying our other questions were not
good questions?
questions?
No, they were all good questions.
Finally, there's a good question.
Josh, you're the same as when we worked together 20 years ago on the Smoke-Free Workplace campaign.
That's right.
No, we don't know what it necessarily will take. This is the first time we've had an elected mayor.
Absolutely.
We just changed our charter. 73% of the voters said, we are done. We've went through cycles of city councils. We've gone through 6 city managers
How many
in
city
7
managers?
years.
6 city managers in
Yes.
7 years.
And this current city council decided to
Who's
take
the
our
city
interim-
manager now?
It's Tim Chapman,
Okay,
who
Tim
is our
Chapman.
city solicitor.
And he replaced Rich Kirby?
Was
the
no,
city
that was
manager?
the city manager, yes.
Yeah.
And city solicitor now is Greg Dias. But yes, he replaced Rich Kirby, who was there a little over a year, who was somebody who State Senator Dan DuPont had helped select. So you see, again, it's a lot of that same machine, the same regurgitation of the same players, the same ideas, if you will. And the city is looking for change. Voters voted for that change. And that's what my candidacy is about, is bringing change, bringing business and financial acumen, paired with the political will to make changes, watch the taxpayer's purse, and be able to deliver results to make it a better place to live, work, play, and pray.
Listen, I appreciate you taking the time to come in. We've got a number, what do we get, about another month and a half before decision time?
So, no, actually, this is a year-long campaign.
Oh, this is
for
an
potential
18? Oh, I'm
Yeah,
sorry,
this
I
is
thought
an
you were in
18
off
election.
season.
No,
Oh.
the 17 election, which is yet to be scheduled by the Secretary of State, will provide amendments that are offered through the Charter Commission, blessed by the City Council, that will establish the criteria for the office. The office was established in the last election. The criteria is this election. And then
So is that going to
there's a
be hard to
primary.
get people out to vote on those criteria questions?
I think
They're
that
not
there
fair.
is a significant need for an opportunity to educate voters who believe that we've already established the office. What is the rationale for this time around? Why do we need to amend the charter again? And really the difference is that now this is to establish the parameters of the office and the division of powers between the city council and the new mayor position.
And this is a nonpartisan election, correct?
Yeah, so we run without party designations.
Right. Similar to, I think Newport's that way, Woonsocket.
There are a
couple
few
of others.
communities
Yeah.
that do that, right?
As you go forward on this, and I know it's early, and you just announced, what's the reaction you're getting?
It has been positive. People are looking for change. We had a great kickoff on Sunday. We had a full room. We were able to generate money through donations to the campaign. So we're jumping forward. And again, I encourage folks to take a look at the website.
Give us that URL again.
oliverforep.com, and you'll get to know what the issues that I'm looking to achieve in our Fresh Start agenda. You'll be able to take a look at our more information about me, the introductory video, so this way you can get to know my family, as well as to know the issues that I'd like to work on behalf of the voters in this next election. And then at the same time, too, there's also one other component of our campaign that we didn't touch on, and that's the We Are One East Providence initiative.
Mm-hmm.
Given my experience of working on public policy issues and on charitable issues over the past 2 decades, we wanted to dedicate through this campaign an opportunity to give back to the community, which is a little different than some other political campaigns, but I am a non-traditional candidate. And so we're going to be exposing some issues of those that are the hardest hit in our community and be able to give back and provide them tools and resources to improve their lives. So
That's
our
great.
first initiative is called the Ties That Bind East Providence. And what we're doing is that we're helping to match those that have been unemployed recently because of our lagging city's economy with those that are employers that are seeking to hire these folks. And we're also collecting neckties for men and women who either need them for their jobs or for interviews, and to be able to make sure that they're ready for that interview and put their best foot forward.
I cannot help you with the necktie.
I know.
Because being a digital media guy, we don't even have neckties.
No.
Listen, I want to thank you so much. We'll have you back, obviously,
Great.
and we'll obviously have your opponents back over, and maybe we can get the two of you chatting together one day over the next year, talking about this. I appreciate it. We give huge respect for people who jump into the arena. It's
I never
thankless.
thought I'd go into this.
Yeah, it's thankless.
Never
As
thought
a
I'd cross
former
the line.
city councilman,
Yeah.
nobody has any idea until you've done it. I'll also say twofold. Running for office is one of the most interesting experiences you can possibly
It's
have.
exciting so far.
Yeah, it's never dull. The person who's your lifelong friend won't give you $25, but the lady down the street who just likes what you stand
That's
for
right.
literally will take her last 50 cents and give it to you. So it's probably one of the biggest learning experiences. So thank you so much
Thanks,
for coming
Josh.
on.
Good to
Really
see you.
appreciate it.